Okay, hi all. Tonight we're going to be talking about accomplices. In other words, if one person, not one person, but two people commit a crime, then exactly how many uh, could be held responsible. Um, okay, so for example, if you have, we had the case of George Floyd. Now we have one of the main person beating down on his neck is certainly liable for murder. But what about the other guys holding him down? So probably Floyd, he would not be able to push down on his neck if the other guys weren't. So they're accomplishing and they were necessary. They were helpful and necessary. What about the other cop that was standing up and just keeping people away? Is he also an accomplice? Is he also as guilty? Perhaps he was helpful, but not necessary. So we're going to talk about in the case of Shabbat, different levels of being accomplice, and if many people do things together. So we'll see a lot of interesting cases. The Mishnah teaches someone carries out a loaf of bread, chayav. Okay, translate here large mass. I guess it doesn't have to be a loaf of bread. Anything. Chayav. Obviously, you carry something, you're chayav. That's the simple case. But we say that in order to say the next one. If two people are both carrying one item that's small, then patur. Because that's not the normal way of carrying. You don't have two people carrying an apple. It looks ridiculous. However, if two people are carrying a refrigerator, well, no, each one by himself could not carry it. So therefore, that would be the normal way. And so both of them are chayav, even though they're carrying just one item, both chayav. However, that's the majority opinion here, which we'll see is the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Shimon, however, poter, he's very generally mekel. In this case, he says, even if it's a refrigerator, patur. Why? I guess he's saying that you can't hold two people liable to one action. If there's one action, there can only be one person that's responsible. So anytime it's shared, even if neither could do it on their own, patur. Okay, that's the Mishnah. Now we're going to bring a couple of other baraitot that add yet another opinion of Rabbi Meir, who is more machmir here. Amar Rav Yehuda Amar Rav, v'amri la Amar Abaye, v'amri la b'matnita tana. This is an interesting confusion. We're not sure who said it. Rav, the first generation Amora, Abaye, the fourth generation Amora, or it's a baraita, which is very, very different time periods. But anyway, whoever said it said, Ze yachol v'ze yachol Rabbi Meir mechayeb. Even if it's a small item, a little apple, and each person could easily carry it on their own, and they carry it together, Rabbi Meir says they're both chayav anyway. So he's the most machmir. Rabbi Yehuda is in the middle. Rabbi Yehuda v'Rabbi Shimon potrim. They would say patur in that case. Ze eno yachol v'ze eno yachol. If it's something heavy like a refrigerator, and neither could carry it on their own, then Rabbi Yehuda v'Rabbi Meir mechayivin. Rabbi Meir, of course, he says chayav even for an apple. Rabbi Yehuda says in the case of refrigerator chayav. Rabbi Shimon poter. The same Rabbi Shimon we saw here. However, even Rabbi Shimon says chayav in one case. Ze yachol v'ze eno yachol dibre hakol chayav. If it's something in between, if it's a heavy suitcase, and you have someone who's very strong and he could carry the suitcase on his own, and someone else who's weak would not be able to carry the suitcase, and they both carry it together, so one of them would be chayav, but not the other. Which one would be chayav? What do you think?
The one who carry it.
Who's not able to.
The one who is or not?
Who's not able to.
Who's not able to. Why?
What do you say?
If he's not able to, and then it's like the previous cases where two people can't.
He needed the help. Obviously, it's wrong. I don't know.
Okay, so anyway, the Gemara will discuss this later, but I'll tell you the answer now. It's the person who is able to.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, because he could do it himself. The other guy, the other guy, we're talking about a suitcase that one person can lift and the other person can't, and they carry it together. So the person that can lift it, he's carrying it. He's responsible. The other guy is helpful, but not necessary, right? Whereas the weak guy, he would not be able to do it on his own. So his effort there is minimal. Okay. All right. Good. So that's so now.
What? Is it? But isn't Rabbi Yehuda the one who's always generally mahmir in these cases? Like all the hota'ah stuff.
In terms of shiurim, he was the one that's mahmir, even small shiurim. But in the terms of joint responsibility, Rabbi Meir is the most mahmir.
Because I would have assumed that Rabbi Yehuda is more mahmir than Rabbi Meir, because generally it was Rabbi Meir who's stam.
Right, it's true. Rabbi Meir usually is stam, but in this case, you could see obviously that the stam mishnah is Rabbi Yehuda. Okay, yeah. We have yet another baraita that repeats the same thing. Tanya nami hachi hamosi kika l'shut rabim chayav. If you carry something, chayav. Hotziu shenayim, Rabbi Meir mechayev, Rabbi Yehuda omer. So if two people carry it out, Rabbi Meir says chayav all the time, no matter what. This is a good repetition, so you didn't miss anything. Rabbi Yehuda says, "Im lo yachol echad lo'si'o ve'osi'u shenayim chayavin." If it's a refrigerator and no one can carry it on their own, chayavin. But if not, if it's just a small thing, an apple, then peturin. Rabbi Shimon poter, and Rabbi Shimon says patur in all these cases. Okay, it doesn't bring the last case of the suitcase of one can and one can. Okay, so that's the baraita, and the baraita. Okay, now the Gemara asks, what's their source to have this three-way machloket? The Tanura Banan Ba'asota Haose et Kula pasuk in Vayikra that says someone who commits a sin Ba'asota by performing it and making and violating any one of the sins. So Ba'asota is singular in his performing it. So therefore, we learn haose et kula. Only one person who does the whole thing from beginning to end, that person will be chayav hatat. So again, this is only for chayuv hatat. It doesn't mean if a lot of people commit a crime, then they all go free. Although with riots, it does look like that's what happens. But, right? No. But the point is that the chayuv hatat is only for one person who does the entirety. Velo haoset miksata. For example, kesad. Shenayim shayu ochazin bemalgez velogzin. Okay, you know the word mazleg is a fork. This, you just switch around the letters, is a pitchfork. So they're taking a pitchfork and they're piling grain, right, with me'amed, or becharkad veshobtin, or they're setting up a loom, which is another melacha. These are all easy to do. Bekolmos vechotbin, they're both holding on to a reed and writing together. They're holding just a light thing, a reed, and they carry it out together. Okay, so we see that when it comes to an easy thing to do, right? The examples here are all easy things to do. One person has to do it, not two people. So this would fit with both Rabbi Shimon, of course, and Rabbi Yehuda, not Rabbi Meir, right? Rabbi Meir would not agree with this because Rabbi Meir would say chayav even in that case. But the baraita continues, be'igul shel debela. They used to preserve figs by drying them out and putting them in big barrels. These were very heavy, and so no one person could carry it. Ve'otzi'o l'shut harabim be'kora or beam. Ve'otzi'o l'shut harabim. Rabbi Yehuda omer im lo yachol echad l'osi'o. V'otzi'uhu shenayim hayavin, ve'im lav peturin. Rabbi Shimon omer, af al pi shelo yachol echad l'osi'o ve'otzi'uhu shenayim peturim. So this is one that's too heavy to carry. In that case, Rabbi Yehuda says if they can't carry it, none of them can carry it chayavin because they're both needed. Rabbi Shimon says patur even in that case. Lekach ne'emar ba'asota yachid shasa chayav shenai mas shasauha peturim. So in other words, this is primarily Rabbi Shimon's derivation. He says ba'asota all the time. Only one person will ever be liable for an action. he doesn't mention the other case of the suitcase, but that would apply here also. In the suitcase, one person is strong and can carry it, so that person is responsible. The other person was helpful, but not necessary. So we hold the main person liable there. Okay.
Rabbi,
yeah.
Are we saying specifically liable for korban because, or like in general, or like even hayav mitah, we're saying they wouldn't be liable?
That's a good question. If there were witnesses there and gave them hatra'ah and all that, would it be the same law?
Because this ba'asotah is specifically referring to korbanot for korban. Right. I think it's asham,
right,
or hatat. So
yeah, that's a good question. I'm not sure the answer. I mean, I would guess that if it was, two people murdering or stealing or something like that, you wouldn't apply that, right? So would you apply that for Chot Shabbat? I don't know.
Well, you have to, for the hatat, there has to be a specific knowledge that a person has, so they both don't have the same knowledge, right? So it would be interesting to say, you're killing someone, but but they both know that, right? And everyone can agree that it's asur, but the idea of this one forgetting, if it's two different people, they can't have one forgetting.
Right. Okay, good. Yeah, I mean, then the warning would have to be specific to each. Okay, Z, try to get a better Wi-Fi here. A little broken up there. Okay. So what exactly, how are they interpreting the different things here? That's the full pasuk. Rabbi Shimon Sabad, Tilatam mi'ute ketibe, nefesh techeta, achat techeta, ba'asota techeta. So he derives these three limitations here. It says nefesh what is one, meaning only a nefesh, that's one person. Achat is one person, and ba'asota is also singular. So there's three singular words here. So they each are limiting different things. Two of them are not relevant to us. If, like the first Mishnah in Shabbat, if one person inside the Baal Habayit sticks his hand out and the person outside puts money in, right? So those are two separate actions. All right, one is moving and one is placing. So that would be patur because they're each only doing half of an action. Chad lemeute zeyachol vezeyachol. One of them is to limit this case that we're talking about here, where even if both of them can carry it, like a case of an apple, this is Rabbi Shimon, and says patur. And the third one is to limit a refrigerator case where nobody could carry it. So we see that he derives three laws from this, and if you have these two laws at the end, that's the two laws that we need. That's Rabbi Shimon, who's the most mekel. Rabbi Yehuda, had the me'ute ze oker veze maniach. So one of them is the same thing, the case where one person transfers out, one person puts it down, not relevant to us. One of them, in the case of apple, they both can carry it, so patur. He uses for something else. The bet din comes and says, oh, you're allowed. They say halib is kosher, the non-kosher fat. They say it's kosher. And the guy goes and does it, right? So does that person who eats it have to bring a korban? According to this, no. We exclude that he doesn't have to. Okay, that's not relevant. The point is using it for something else, and so he does not have any derivation to limit when neither can carry it. Okay, Rabbi Shimon disagrees with that law, so he thinks that someone who ate the haleb, even according to the court's mandate, is chayav, so he won't have to. He uses one of the limitations for the case of Shabbat. Now, so that's how they derive that. How about the Meir? Miketiv nefesh techeta achat techeta. Doesn't repeat the word techeta each time. Ba'asota techeta. So if it was that, then fine. But it just says nefesh achat techeta, and then ba'asota. The word techeta is only once, so you can't derive so many things. Today me'ote ketiv. I'll accept only two limiting words. Achad leme'ute ze oker veze maniach. So one is the case of taking something outside, the other person putting it down. Everybody has one for that. And the other is for the other irrelevant law when someone eats chelev because the betin says so. In other words, he doesn't use any of the limitations for the laws of an accomplice on Shabbat. And so that's why Rabbi Meir is the most machmir regarding partnership on Shabbat. Okay, so that's how they deal with pasuk and how they each derive. Amar Mor, now you just said, Amar Mor is quoting something was just said, analyze it further. The master taught, Ze yachol ve'ze eno yachol, divrei hakol chayav. Everyone agrees that in the suitcase, and one person's strong and one person's weak, everyone agrees that someone is liable. Heminayu mechayev, who is it? Who is liable? Lamada b'chista, ze sheyachol, it's the strong person. Ze she'eno yachol, my ka'abid. If it's the one who's weak, what did he do? Right? You ever carrying something like, with your kid, and the kid, what are you doing? I'm carrying everything. So that person is helpful but not necessary, and therefore, how could we ever hold him liable? Well, he is helping a little. He's helping to balance, and he's taking off a few pounds of it. So why not? It says being a little bit helpful when you're not really needed is not significant. Okay, if it is needed, in other words, if you're helping, even if you're weak, but I couldn't do it alone, then that would be something substantial, right? So this phrase is going to be now the main source of discussion for the next few paragraphs. Okay, the question is if something is helpful, and we have to define helpful as helpful but not necessary. The person could have done it without the help. Is that considered a real contribution and for liability, or insignificant? Okay, we're going to bring several proofs to say that it's insignificant. Mesayea en bo mamash. Let's see some cases. Amar Rav Zevid Mishmei Rava Af Anan Name Tanena. We have a baraita that teaches the same principle. Being helpful is not significant. Haya Yosheb al Gabe Hamita. They have a zav, right, who's a high level of tum'ah. A zav makes things tameh by touching them, but by sitting, if he sits on something that's made to be sat upon, even something under a cushion will become tameh av hatum'ah. Okay, so that's a special thing regarding zav. So he's sitting on a bed. Varbat taliyot tachat reglei hamita, and there's 4 legs of the bed, and under each one is a talit. Interesting, the plural of talit here is not talitot, but taliyot. Not doesn't mean talit with sisit. It means a garment. It's resting on garments. So timeot, the law is all 4 garments are tameh. Mipene she'ena yechola la'amod al shalosh. So now we're picturing the 4 legs of the bed as are they accomplices, right? If we could personify them. And they'll say yes, because they all need each other, right? The bed would not be able to stand with only 3 legs. And so all 4 legs are contributing. It's like a case of a heavy refrigerator. And so therefore, each of them is bearing the weight and is needed to bear the weight. Therefore, they each get the tum'ah transferred from the zav to those clothing that's under each one. The Bishimon metaher. The Bishimon, however, says the same logic, even though it's a completely different realm here, right? He says, no, you can't hold responsible more than 2 different talitot for holding up the weight, right? After all, if the guy weighs 100 pounds, each one is only going to be 25 pounds. And so, they're not holding up the whole weight. And so only if he's sitting on one thing, that's it. Okay, so same logic transfers. All right, so so far so good. We didn't talk about, all these are necessary. They're helpful and necessary. We're looking for a case of helpful and not necessary. That's what Mesayah means. And then we have that in the next case, which is in the same source. Haya rochev al gabe behema. Someone is on a horse. And the horse is standing on 4 garments. Tehorot, those 4 garments are tahor, even though it's a zav sitting on the horse that's resting, that has 4 legs on 4 garments. What's the difference? Isn't that the same as the bed? An animal can balance on 3 legs, right? And so therefore, the fourth leg it's helpful, make more balance, but not necessary. So you see here, amai, aren't they all helping each other? But in the case of an animal, it's helpful, but not needed, and unlike the bed. And so therefore, we have another proof that being helpful, but not necessary, mesayea, is not considered significant. Okay. None of them, by the way, it's interesting, none of the cloths that it's standing on, because it's not actually standing on 3 legs, it's standing on 4 legs, but they're all helping each other, so no one is necessary, right? You can't point to this one that, no, the other 3 are holding that one up, and the other 3 are holding that one up, so they're all tahor. Okay, Rabbi Yehuda mediskarta, he picks up on this and says, Leolam emalach mesayeya yesh bo mamash. No, I could take this source and argue the opposite, that something that's helpful but not necessary is significant. And the reason, you know why it's tahor there? Maybe it's talking about a case where it's actually picked up 1 leg. And that's why, right? So not that what we said, it's standing on 4 legs and it could pick up 1 leg, but it actually picked up 1 leg. So because it actually picked up 1, that's why that's why it's tahor, because it didn't have its weight on it. But if it was on all 4, then I would agree. No, if it was on all 4, then right. In that case, the reason why it's tahor is because it picked up 1 leg. But if it had all of the legs on the ground, it would be tameh, because mesayea yesh bo mamash. In other words, I could interpret the same source in a slightly different scenario and show the opposite, that something helpful but not necessary is significant. Hold on, now we reject that. Okay, it's not standing on the same 3 feet all the time. Sometimes this one, sometimes it's picking up the other one, right? I mean, I guess that's why he's saying that they're all tahor, because it keeps switching feet. But this is similar to another case of a zav who's resting on something and he keeps rolling over. He's like rolling over in his sleep. Or mi lo tenan zav shem mutal al chamisha safsalin or al chamesh pundaot. He's resting on 5 different benches or 5 different money belts. Or kan temein. If it's on the lengthwise, in other words, his body is along the length of the entire thing, then he's probably rolling from one to the other, and he's putting at some point his full weight on each one, so they're all tameh. Ledochban teorin. If it's the other way around, then his weight is distributed on all of them, so tahor. Yashen, if he's sleeping, safek mitapech alehen temein. If he's sleeping and we're not sure, did he roll around or didn't he roll over? We assume that he did, or we suspect that he did, and we say tameh. And so you see, in that case, even though he keeps switching around, they're all tameh. And so too in the case of the guy sitting on the horse, even if he picks up 1 leg one time and another leg some other times, at some point or another he has his full weight on these 3 legs or those 3 legs, and even if he keeps switching, they should all be tameh. Yet that baraita said tahor, and so therefore we reject the reading of Rabbi Yehuda mediskarta ela la mishum damrinan mesayeya en bo mamash. In fact, all his legs are down and they're helping each other. They're helpful but not necessary, and that's therefore tahor. So we have yet another proof. Okay, yet another proof for the same principle. Amar Rav Papi mishimed deraba afanan nami tenena. We also have a braita that can prove it. Rabbi Yosef omer hasus metameh al yadav v'hamor al raglav. Shemish'ena tasus al yadav v'chamor al raglav. If a zav is riding on, or doesn't have to be riding, it could be sitting on a horse, then anything under its 2 front legs is tameh, because it puts most of its weight on the front 2 legs. Whereas a mule, it would be on the back legs, because its center of weight is further back. Okay, ve'amai. Now why? All the animals, the other legs also are helping out. They're only helpful, but most of the weight, it could, theoretically, just put all its weight on the front 2 legs and the horse, or the back 2 legs and the mule, and therefore that's another proof that being helpful but not necessary is not significant, and therefore anything under the weak legs would be tahor. Another proof, the Eliezer Omer, raglo achat al hakeli, ורגלו achat al haritzpa, raglo achat al eben, ורגלו achat al haritzpa. We're talking about a kohen who's serving in the Bet HaMikdash. He needs to have his feet on the floor. Okay, he can't be leaning on something. He can't be stepping on something. He has to have his feet on the floor of the Bet HaMikdash. But what if one of his feet was on a utensil, or one of his feet was on a stone, and the other foot was on the floor? Then we look, ro'in, kol shi'lu yinatela kli v'tinatela eben, yachol amod al raglo achat, avodato keshera, v'imlav avodato pesula. We say, okay, stay in that position. We take off the rock. We see if he falls down, it means he was putting a lot of weight on the rock, and so that's no good. But if most of his weight was on the lower leg, on the floor, and he was just using the other one for a little bit of stability, but he could balance even without it, then it's okay. So you see here, it's helpful, but not necessary, and yet it's okay. Why do you do that? Isn't it helpful, even if it doesn't not necessary? Okay, it's a rhetorical question. It was yes, right? So that's a good proof. Yet another proof. The paragraph breaks here are not good. Kibel biyamin usmol mesayato avodato keshera. When the Kohen accepts blood and does things, he has to use his right hand. Now, if he's holding the pitcher with his right hand, but his left hand is helping to balance. It's okay. Why you say it's helpful? It's helping out. Maybe that should make it pasul. This teaches that even if it's helping, but it's not the main thing, it's not necessary, so then it's not significant, and so that we conclude is that principle is accepted. Okay, good. Now we're going back to another case we mentioned. Amar mor zeyachol v'zeyachol. Small apple. Rabbi Meir mechayev. Still, Rabbi Meir says chayav. Ibaya lehu ba'ayanan shiur lazeh v'shiur lazeh. Okay. Now, do we need, if two people are going to be liable for carrying one thing, do we need double the shiur? Remember, if they're carrying, let's say that's something that's food, you need a fig size. Okay. If they're both carrying one fig, right? Is that enough, or you need something that's two figs because there's two people that are being liable? All right, so do you need one for each, in other words, double measure, or or even one single fig? It's one action, but they're both liable, and they can share. That one action, that one amount. Okay, that's what we're going to say at the end. It's the second one. Rabbi Chista v'Rab Hamnuna hadamar shiur lazeh v'shiur lazeh. Okay, I have two different opinions. We're not sure who said what, should be Chasta or Rav Hupnuna, but anyway, fine. Okay. By the way, this Amar Mod is going all the way back to that statement that had three attributions, and one of them was Rava, and then that's kind of strange because then if it's Rava, then Rav Chista is like quoting something that Rava said, or they're using him to answer. Well, unless this was already a prior machloket. Okay. Anyway, back to the subject. Amara papa mishme de Rava. Af anana mitanena. Oh, we have a proof for this from a baraita. Well, for only one way. Haya yoshev al gabe mita. Barba taliyot tachat arba raglei hamita. We saw this case already, but now we're going to use it again as another proof. Temeot mipnei she'en yechola la'amod al shalosh. Okay, the case again of a zav sitting on the bed, and all four legs, the cloth under all four legs are tameh, because you can't stand on three, they're all necessary. Now again, remember we had the guy weighs 100 pounds, but each cloth is only 25 pounds, yet they are all liable. In other words, they all receive the tum'ah, so we see that four different items can share the one shi'ur. So mishum damrinan shiur echad lechulan. Okay, so therefore this proves, whoever is the opinion, we don't know which one it is, that's shiur echad lechulan. it's interesting that it says it as afanan nami tenena and not as a metibe. It could have brought it as a question on one of them, which may suggest that the original Gemara only had one opinion here, and it's saying, okay, I have a proof, right? And then at some point later, the other opinion, the machloket, was recorded. Amar Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak, afanan name tanena. We have another proof that one shiur is sufficient from another case regarding Hilchot Shabbat, where the Mishnah later on says you can't not allowed to trap on Shabbat. Sevi shenichnas labayit v'na'al echad befanav hayab. All right, so a deer happens to go into my house. It could happen in New Jersey, right? And you close the door. By closing the door, you're trapping the deer in your house. If you did it by yourself. Nalu shenayim peturim. Two people close the door, then patur, because neither can like carrying something. One person could have closed the door. Now two people are doing it, so piturin. Lo yachol echad lin'ol v'nalu shenayim hayavin. If it's a really big, heavy door and no one person can close this door, you need two people to do it. Then hayavin, like carrying something heavy. V'amai. This would be like the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda, which makes sense. It's a Mishnah. Amai shiur sida lazeh v'shiur sida lazeh. Now, why? In order to trap something, you have to trap a whole animal. You can't trap half an animal. And here, two people trapped one animal, but each one only trapped half an animal. So neither has a shiur. Yet we say chayav if it was a heavy door. Lav mishum damdina shiur lechad lechulam. Okay, good. So now that is a proof. Amar Ravina af anan. Whoever made these paragraph breaks didn't see the content. They just thought it was question and answer. Okay. Amar Ravina af anan name tenena. I would have made my own outline, but I prepared for this on Shabbat. So Amar Ravina af anan name tenena shutafin sheganvu v'tabchu chayabin. Right. There's a law that if you steal an ox or a lamb and you slaughter it, then you have to pay 4 or 5 times the value. And now two people did it together, right? They shared. They both grabbed it and stole it. They both held the knife and slaughtered it. Chayavin, they have to pay. Both have to pay 4 and 5, or each, or together have to. They're both liable. I don't know. I'm not sure how much they each would pay. I know they would pay a total of 4 and 5, but they're both liable. Ve'amai. Right? There's not enough. They only stole and killed one animal. So there should only be one chiyuv. So you see that one measurement can be distributed to give liability to more than one person.
Rabbi,
yeah.
All these seem like cases where the concept of shiur just shouldn't apply. Like you're never going to talk about shiur of like how much of a deer you're trapping or how much of a sheep you're slaughtering. It's like you slaughtered it or you didn't. You like. Right. I mean, I can't think of any halachot that have like shiur other than eating and carrying. So I don't know if there could be a case that's similar, but these all seem like non-relevant.
Yeah. I definitely see your point. They're not technical shiurim, except in the sense that it's assumed it's one item. It's a thing. Like how could let's say even in murder, how could two people be liable to murder if only one person was killed, right? One person would get the death penalty. How could two people then get the death penalty for killing one person, right? But yet that happens. So. Even if it's not an explicit shiur, it's kind of just an assumed one victim means one liability. But certainly I agree that you can see a difference, especially in this case, if in fact I'm right that they both together pay the 4 and 5, right? They split it half. So it really is one liability, and they are sharing the liability. Right? They don't pay the guy who's stolen. He doesn't get 8 or 10 times his money back because there were two thieves, right? So this case, I think your question is more relevant too. Okay, but maybe once we have a bunch of proofs, we bring other things that are similar. tanena shenayim shehosiu kaneh shel gardi hayavin. Two people carry out this a reed, so that's a light thing, and hayavin ve'amai liba shiur hotza'a lazeh ve'shiur hotza'a lazeh. Why not? That's not enough for each. It's just a small item. La mishum damrina and shiur echad lechulam. And so must be, this will be according to the Bimeir, by the way, right? It's interesting, kind of switches back and forth between the Bimeir and the Biuda. It's a little subtle, but it's mixing them, matching them. Okay, so you see that, right? Two people carrying this one light item, and it's enough only for one shiur. Oh, maybe it's small. It's enough to cook a kezait of an egg, and for this one, and another kezait of an egg for that one. That's scrambled in a frying pan. So maybe there is a double shiur, even though this weaver's reed is a small item. If that's the case, just say a reed. Why do you have to say specify this type of reed? Maybe it's not enough for that, but maybe it's enough to weave two items for both people. So this case is not a good proof. It's possible that in this instance, saying a weaver's reed is actually saying there is enough for two. Okay, it's not a proof against, but we're just not a proof for. Okay, so we will leave that one out. But otherwise, we have lots of proofs that, in fact, you only need one shiur, and you can still have two liabilities. Okay, well, just a last comment on the Mishnah, and we'll end. Taneh Tana Kamed Rab Nachman Shenaim Sheosiu Kaneh Shel Gardi Peturin. We just said that. Rabbi Shimon mechayeb. And Rabbi Shimon says chayav in that case. Wait a second. Rabbi Shimon is always the one that says patur. Kila pelaya. It should be the opposite. Switch it around. Ela ema hayavin. Rabbi Shimon poter. Oh, okay, in fact, fine. We'll switch it around, and then it will make more sense. And next Mishnah we'll look at tomorrow. Baruch Adonai Olam. Amen ve'amen.
Very nice. Thank you.
Okay.